The Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast brings you a unique view of Mesa through its vibrant business community and the subjects that are important. The podcast is produced in the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Media Studio, sponsored by the University of Phoenix. Our podcast is hosted by Mesa Chamber of Commerce CEO Sally Harrison. Please enjoy this episode of the Mesa Chamber Inside Business podcast.
Hi, I'm Sally Harrison, President and CEO of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and today in our podcast studio, I'm pleased to welcome our longtime friends and chamber members from Sunshine Acres.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Sally.
Good morning. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves and then maybe tell us how you're connected to the founders of Sunshine Acres.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Shara Markwell, and my great-grandparents, Jim and Vera Dingman, started Sunshine Acres back in 1954. So as family, we just want to continue on their legacy, and so it's really exciting to let the community know who we are and that we're here to help children.
Great.
I'm Joe Fernandez. I'm the Director of Community Partnerships. Me and my wife were house parents there for about 7 years. And then after that, I was kind of put into this role of Community Partnerships, so I'm really excited to be in that role.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, so, Shara, maybe you should take this question. Let's talk about how Sunshine Acres Children's Home began, because it's a great story.
Absolutely. So my great-grandparents are from Oregon, and when they got married, the night that they got married, they knelt on their knees and prayed and asked God for to give them a job that nobody wanted. And so here we are,
Yes.
right? So my grandfather was a pastor, and he actually had asthma really bad, and so they decided that they would trek all the way down to Arizona, and they saw what the homeless was like and foster system was like back in the 30s, 40s, and so they knew that day that they wanted to help children. Everyone who they told said it was a big pipe dream, that they would never be able to start a children's home. Well, they prayed 17 years. They never lost hope or faith.
Oh my gosh.
And after 17 years, one day they got a call that 125 acres dropped down 50%, $29,500.
Oh my gosh.
Right? All the way out in Northeast Mesa.
Yeah.
And at the time they were in downtown Mesa. They had a mulch shop there, and my grandfather also did photography, and he had his little church. And my grandmother would go and make pies for the local hospital there, and then also they would minister to the jail. And so every morning and evening they would come and feed them, and they would minister to the men in the jail. So once they finally got this call, they drove out, they got lost. There's 3 abandoned buildings on property, and that day they knew that as long as they provided for the children, God would provide for them. So they said, this is Sunshine Acres. They ended up going to the state and said, hey, I would like a license. They're like, you're never going to be able to do it. And they said, well, please, can you just, give us what we need to do? So they came back, and my grandfather was part of the Optimist Club. So the Optimist, and actually Optimist was the ones that helped with the down payment.
That's great.
Which was wonderful. Yeah. They wanted to do a boys, like a boys club, and they were trying to find property, and they just, it never worked out. So they had the money, and when they found out about what my grandparents wanted to do, they said, let's give the money towards that. So they helped with that, and so they got the property. Every weekend the Optimist Club would come up and help and clean it up and get it ready, and then they got their license.
Wow.
So back 1954, here we are, and then here we go, 71 years later, and we don't take any state or federal funding. We don't solicit for funding. We have an amazing community that wants to help and change these kids' lives.
That's incredible. So how would you describe the mission of the Children's Home in your own words?
Yeah, so I would say the mission is we are a faith-based organization that want to care for the children emotionally, spiritually, educationally, their whole well-being. We have parental type figures. We never want to replace the parents. And I always tell the parents when they come that we are now forever family. We are that extended family for you. And so we're here just to provide a stable, loving environment for these children. We don't know how long they're going to need to be with us, but they can live with us for as little as 1 year, but we've had children live with us 13 plus years. So it just kind of depends on what the need of the child and that family is.
Wow, that's incredible. You mentioned support, emotional, education, spiritual. What kind of support? What does that look like?
Yep. So We at one time had a school on site, but what we found is a lot of our kids come to us several grade levels below where they need to be.
Sure.
And it was really hard for us to get the services that they needed. Another thing is none of us want to be home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we also want to have other, make friends and meet friends. So we found that if our children go to school, they have that normalcy of the school environment plus extra support there, and then we're able to get them the help they need in their education with the school system. So we do have a learning center, and we have an academic service director that provides all of their academic needs. So he actually gets to know all of the principals, all of the teachers. He gets in. Every September, October, we invite all of the school's teachers to our property.
That's great.
And they get to do a tour, and then we do a big dinner for them so that they can see where our children live and understand who we are.
That's
and
great.
so it's really neat or the connection that we can create to help these kids.
Yeah.
We also are non-denominational, so we do have a chapel on site that is open to the public, and our pastor and his wife do live on site also. So
Nice.
all of our kids do participate with us, which is exciting. They're part of our worship team. They love to learn Bible verses and just participate in understanding who God is, which is really neat. We never force a child, if they come in, they don't have to, but I believe that also that foundation and the positivity of that and that unconditional love that they see, they really get excited, and you can see the change. We also have support services, so we have a horse program, we do 4-H, we have music on site. A lot of our kids currently are learning bucket drums, piano, violin,
neat.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then our 4-H is really awesome. So we do steers, goats, lambs, chickens. This year is the first time we're going to do turkeys,
Oh my
which
gosh.
is really exciting.
Right.
But our kids get their project at the beginning, usually summer, our steer kids, September for the rest of them. And then they do several shows throughout the year. So state fair, they do several jackpot
That's
shows.
awesome.
And then they end at the county fair in April, and then they sell their animal to market. That's a great program because all they do is just pay back the cost of the feed and the animals and any medical, but at the end of the year they get to keep the rest. We have
That's
a
great.
savings account for them. We've had children leave. We had one child that left with over $12,000 in his account
Wow.
just from that program.
That's
So
impressive.
it's really impressive.
Very
So we also have a greenhouse. We have a junior harvest program, so our kids get to learn how to grow plants and vegetables, and they sell them at farmers markets. So and then we also have our dining hall. We
Oh
have a
my
horse
gosh.
program. So you name it. We have a
Yeah.
lot of exciting. Let's see. It would be flag football is one of the big things on
Okay.
property. We have an amazing donor who it's called Duo Football, and I believe it's been 17 plus years, and he comes out every year and does a whole flag football season for our kids.
That's
So
awesome.
that's one big
With
thing on
other
our
teams
campus.
as well.
Yes, with other teams.
That's very cool. So talk about how the children's home benefits the surrounding community.
Yeah, well, I think our big thing is I kind of look at in order for us to care for the world, right, we have to care for our community first and build that foundation. So I would say particularly Mesa, there's so much need out there and hurt in families that also parents are so afraid to there's not a lot of places for them for their kids for safety wise for them to get the help that they need.
Yeah.
So this way is we only take power of attorney of our children. We don't take custody of them, so they're not losing them from the state. And so they're able to bring their children to us, and we can care for their everyday needs for them, their medical, schooling, you name it. And the parents now can go and get themselves where they need and healthy. And then throughout that time too, we also have connections where they get to be together. So whether they maybe have a safe enough place for the kids to go visit, they can go visit, or we do on-site visits, they do phone calls weekly. So they're still connected to their child, and then now they can get themselves where they need to. The hope is for that positive reunification.
That's great.
So it's not only just Mesa, of course, but it's all Arizona. And then I would say we've had helped in California and Nevada
Wow.
prior, and a lot of those had family that were in Arizona type of thing, and creating that connection.
That's incredible. I know you have probably hundreds of success stories, but can you share just maybe one or two that show the home's impact on a child's life? Because I know you have stories. I've heard
Yes.
several.
Well, I will say our most recent that's actually exciting is we have a gentleman, his name's Isaac, and he's currently in the Coast Guard. He's 21. He just turned 21 at the end of July. He came to us when he was 13 years old. He really struggled with his family. His mom's from Mexico, came up and with his stepdad, and his stepdad was pretty abusive to him. And so when Isaac came to us, he was sad. He was definitely feeling lost and that nobody loved him. Well, he stayed with us through high school and then went into the Coast Guard. The really exciting thing about it is just last night I have him on Life 360. He's part of our family, like
Sure.
that's a keep connection, but he got stationed in Honolulu.
Oh,
and so
good
he's
for
been there
him.
for a year, but 2 nights ago we saw him and he was in San Francisco and he said they were heading to Baltimore because
my
he has to
gosh.
take one of the ships from Baltimore all the way back to Honolulu.
Oh, wow.
So he's gonna, I'm assuming, gonna be going down through the Panama
Yeah.
Canal, and just that experience
how cool for him.
right, here's a child who has lived in Arizona, never gone outside, and then now he gets to see the world, and he is having the time of his life. He does damage control on the ship, so he's learning all his certifications now for smaller ships because he does want to come stateside someday soon. He doesn't know when, but just for him having that opportunity and seeing the pictures and the
great.
excitement every time he calls,
Wow.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
Years ago, there's a gentleman named Glenn Anderson, and Glenn came to us when he was 4 years old. I was a flight attendant with Southwest Airlines, and
It's an
it was
amazing story.
when I first started flying, you had to go up into the cockpit if one of the pilots had to come out for a second. So I went up and he said, "Tell me your story." So I was like, "Okay, well I tell everyone about
Yeah.
Sunshine Acres." And he said, "Well, I didn't realize the light in the desert was still there." When he was 4 years old, his mom had left, and his father ended up dropping him at Sunshine Acres.
Oh my gosh.
He remembers being scared, but he remembers seeing my grandparents and the love that they had, and he remembers my grandpa rocking him and singing "Jesus Loves You" to him.
Aw.
He had a best friend named Billy, and him and Billy used to swing on the swings and see the planes go from Falcon
Oh
Field.
gosh.
And he was like, "One day I'm going to be a pilot." Well, a year later, his dad came back and took him home. Well, it was a pretty tumultuous relationship with his stepmom. She was pretty abusive, so he lived in several different homes throughout school. And then it was a counselor in high school that said, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I want to be a pilot." Ended up going to the Navy and becoming a pilot.
That's incredible.
And so it was really cool. And when back in 2013, when he retired, my grandmother and us, we went and surprised him and watched his final flight come in. And to this day, he comes out. He lives in El Paso. He'll fly into Falcon Field, and he comes and visits. And he says every time he comes on property, he cries because he remembers our water hole, and he remembers. But he was like, "If it wasn't for your grandparents showing me the love at 4 years old,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am today and where I am today."
Aw.
So it's that's the sense of creating change
Yeah.
of what we want is he's changing that cycle for his future.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing those stories. I know you have lots to choose from.
Yes.
So talk about the roles that you have for volunteers and local partnerships, because I know those are very important to you.
Absolutely. One is, as I truly still say to this day, that we are a mission right here in Mesa, Arizona. And so we're always, like, everything we need to do on property, because of us being a nonprofit and we don't solicit for fundings and we do rely on, donors, we need volunteers to come out. So whether it is wanting to participate in our greenhouse, that's a big volunteer opportunity that is always a need, or our front office or our learning center to help tutoring, or our dining hall coming in and help serving, and our KP to our 4-H program. So there's always even maintenance. We love our carpenters out there that want to come help. What I suggest is to come out and take a tour and to kind of see where your heart is pulling
Sure.
you on property. With our local partners is we do, like we did Red Day with Keller Williams. And so a lot of companies and organizations, if they want to come do team building days, we love, because of us being now on 109 acres, the freeway had come in and taken some of our acreage. We love having those big groups coming because we have so much property to come help with yard work and the things and cleaning and all of that. So we're definitely, for partners, we're always looking for that. Another thing is I think the big thing for partnership is reaching our community and creating connection, because it's all through word of mouth of people knowing somebody who knows somebody who needs help with for Sunshine Acres to help them. So I think creating those partnerships on connections on our wheelhouse is our children, but if we had partners that wanted to help with the family and the parents, then we could have now everyone in that family is getting the help they need, and we can work together of saying now's the time, this is what needs to happen, or we're ready for that reunification, and then we know that they're going to be moving forward, then hopefully taking a step back.
It just takes one tour out there to get hooked, and there's obviously so many ways to get hooked. Talk about your biggest challenges that you face as an organization, because I know that, I mean, this is not an easy task on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So, I guess I really don't want to say the challenge in the sense, because I'm so thankful that we have the faith of knowing that we're always going to have support, but it's also, I would say, as family of that faith of telling our employees or people who are working for us is we don't solicit, so we never know what is going to come in to care for the kids, right? It really does take a community out there. Like, we don't go out and solicit for water drives or to fulfill our donations for our dining hall, but it takes a community that wants to say, hey, there's Sunshine Acres and I know that they have needs, to come to us and say, we want to help you with the needs to care for these children. What does it look like? Does it look like us doing a drive for your dining hall? Does it look like we have a place called Carol's Closet that we put all new clothes, because a lot of our kids that come to us are coming to us with just the clothes on their back.
Right.
Also toiletries for 70 plus children. Can you imagine, like, constantly needing shampoo and toothpaste, toothbrush? So throughout the season, depending kind of those needs increase, especially over summertime. We don't get as much compared to like Christmas. So I would say the greatest need is year round, having that support year round with our community. Another need would be our house parents. You know, families are so used to having two separate jobs, right? And so the reality of thinking, how could we quit our careers or what we did and come together now and work together and have 10 plus children, maybe they have their own children. Right. So I'm finding, because it really is a calling to do that. It's not a job, right? Raising children. So it's a 24-hour, 7-day a week. So just someone taking that calling of wanting to do something bigger in their life and taking that faith of saying, this is what I want to do and I want to be part of Sunshine Acres.
So, I don't have this question written down, but can you describe the compound that you have and what walking into a house looks like? Yeah. Because it's pretty magical.
It is pretty magical.
Yeah.
So like we're on 109 acres. We who live on the community often get around on golf carts.
Yes.
Because it's so big. I mean, we can walk, but it's kind of the easiest. Yeah. Kids are riding their bikes everywhere and around. But a home is beautiful. We tell our kids they live in $1 million home. Like, they are that special. And so when you walk in, you see that everything that comes in is donated. So you go into this beautiful home that people have donated all of their, maybe they want to remodel their house and they're bringing their furniture. Well, if it's a need for our home, we put it in there. So the kids have all of the, I guess you see what you get in the sense that our biggest thing is we want our kids to know how to care for nice things, and so we provide nice things for them. So you'll come in and you'll see that their beds are made, that there's not clothes or toys laying out everywhere.
No, they're fancy.
They're fancy.
They're nice houses, man.
Yes, because we don't know when that's going to go away for them either. So we're everything we do with that child is very methodical. It's showing them that unconditional love with everything, that they are valued, that they're worth it. They're worth having the nice things. They are a valued child of God. So we want them to learn how to care for those nice things. So if they do leave, they know what that looks like, so that in order for that, they're going to create change within themselves, hopefully, so that someday they're going to be able to provide that for themselves and their children. So the homes are average around, they're 5-bedroom homes, they're around 6,500 square feet. Every set of home has a set of house parents that live in the house with them. Their apartment is connected to it. So when they do have a day off, we do have a co-parent room in the home. So we have duplexes on property that our co-parents live in, so that they come in and they're able to stay in the home when our house parents are off.
That's great.
So we have 7 homes in there. Each home has 10 children in it.
We have a respite home now.
We do have a respite home. So how our respite home came about is once a child comes in, sometimes they can become dysregulated for the fact that they're, one, separated from their parents, right? And two, now they're with 9 other kids that they don't know anything about, and it could sometimes be a little too much.
Sure.
Or we may see that they need extra services now all of a sudden, and where we don't want them to have to leave Sunshine Acres. So this respite home is they're able to go into this home where it's a set of house parents. So there's at the most can have 4 children in this home. So we can now get them the services they need, get them into counseling.
That's great.
And hopefully get them regulated to be full-time back into the house is what our goal is. The other thing we've seen an uptake the last few years is autism.
Oh, sure.
And so we'll have kids that come in and they now all of a sudden we're recognizing, and then they're diagnosed with that. Well, overstimulation, what does that look like? So maybe there is going to be a sporting event that our houses are going to go to, or a party, and we know that child, it will not be able to be regulated the way they need. That's just going to be too much for them. Whereas this home now, they can get that one-on-one attention and feel safe and know what's going on in their schedule, so that then the houses can go do what they need to, but then that child too, we're able to care for.
When did you open that house?
The house is open.
Yeah.
So we opened it just recently.
Yeah, okay. That's great. Yeah. So talk about the resources or support that's most needed right now.
Yeah, so I would say our biggest support needs are fulfilling our pantry, our food pantry. So we're always, as you can imagine, kids, cereal, dry goods, snacks for them, snacks that they can take to school. We have a lot of kids that play sports, so hydration drinks are always a big need for that currently. We also have our Carol's Closet, so new items. We're in need of a lot of hair products. Ethnic hair products is a big one. Toothpaste, I know we're pretty low on right now. Toothbrushes, also new clothing. So whether it is underwear for boys, girls, socks, I would say pajamas, I would say like jeans, t-shirts to that sense, under garment shirts is such a big need that we can go when we first get children, and we just recently got 5 kids that are homeless, be able to go and provide their initial need, because that was also in the evening when they came. So a lot of times being able to get to the store that night is really difficult, but if we can go into Carol's Closet and get their needs in that moment, then the next day we can go and provide for them. So the other need is gift cards. So we use gift cards for, one, maybe there's extra TLC for a child. A child has done awesome in school and we want to take them out for a special dinner. So we're always in need of food gift cards. We also are in need of like Walmart, Amazon, because those are things where when our houses are in need of maybe those toiletry products that we're low on, we can then just order them right online and be able to provide that, or give them a gift card to go to Walmart or Target to get those initial needs.
Makes sense. So talk about your hopes and goals, what you have for maybe the next 5 years.
Yeah, so I would say one of the biggest goals is, ever since COVID and there's been so much turnover with different agencies not using us as their resource because they don't know who we are. So this is why we brought Joe on, is to get back into the community and saying, how can we work together that we're that other support and that need for you when you see a family that comes in. So I would say that the next 5 years is that the community, we are saturated in the community, and that we are getting phone calls nonstop to help. The other need I would say is that we ultimately want to be up to 100 children. And so with that,
I'm excited about that.
Three more houses?
that would be 3 more houses.
I mean, my math's,
There is a need.
Yeah.
There definitely is a need, and to be able to provide that. So how we acquire a home is somebody does come and they put the funding up and donate the funding for that. So I would love to see that. With that though, there are a couple needs to do in place. Ideally, we had our Bowers Hall, but we kind of outgrew our chapel, and our Bowers Hall is more where we do events. but I would love to see a rec center for our children on property. Summertime, it is so hot.
Definitely.
And to have another indoor rec center that our children can go and play basketball in year round would be amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
So those are like certain things in the sense of, I would say, our need, but our greatest goal is to be able to have the staffing that want to come and participate in our mission and care for the children, and then being able to have the funding that comes in to build the remaining homes that we can to be up to 100.
Those are big goals,
Yes.
but I know you can do it. You've proven that over and over. So talk a little bit about, why some people come there frequently, like me, because you have a great donation center, but you also have a really cool boutique.
We do.
It's awesome.
So I'll tell you a story of how the boutique started and how our donation center became. Right after 9/11, our monetary funds had gone down, but we had just like an influx of donations, right, goods that came in. And so my mother went to my great-grandmother and said, we can't use the fine china in the houses. We can't, our needs are completely provided for in the house. Can I have your blessing to be able to do a boutique that our community can come in and they can buy what's here, but all that money goes back into our home. So my grandmother gave her blessing for that. So that's how our boutique started. And so then we transferred into more and more with our thrift store. So our boutique is the fine things that come in, right? The very unique items. And so that's what our design, and it's
very coolly, it's staged so well.
It's staged
so
so
nice.
well. It's called Cindy's Dove and Sparrow, and that's named after my mom, because my mom started it, and my mom was the designer in the sense of that. And then Jen, now she is over our boutique. Her and her husband were house parents for us, and her husband's now our program director.
Nice.
And so she not only designs the boutique every week, but what we need in our homes, she's the one that provides that for that, and she does all the decorating of our home. So what you see now is between my mother, what
That's
she did,
awesome.
and now Jennifer. So the great thing about her being there is when she knows what our need is, she's able to pull aside what the need to be able to put in the house, but still be able to provide for Cindy's Dove and Sparrow, and then
That's
also
awesome.
our thrift store.
Yeah.
Our thrift store is always, of course it's a thrift store, so it's ever changing, and it's always a work in progress, I would say. But we're really trying to obviously get out there in the community and also still provide nice things for our community, but at a better price.
Smoking deals. I will say there was one time that I was there with a friend, and you have some great stuff in both, but the thrift shop, I was not expecting to find like brand new shoes with still, price tags on them. And so I thought, well, these are both like really inexpensive. like $5 a pair with price tags on them still. And so I got up there and I hand her, my $10 bill, and she hands me back $5. I said, no, I want both pairs. And she's like, yeah, but it's like a 50% off day. And I'm like, okay, here, why don't you just keep the 10? But no, you can find some great things in there. And when you're looking at, cleaning house, purging some things when you've got a little too much, it's a great place to take things, because there's always, it's going to be used or sold.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, there's always a need. The great thing what we do too is a lot of our families, again, that they come in and once they get an apartment, we will help them provide the need for their apartment. So because we want the child to have a place to go. And so we're really big about not only your things coming in to provide for our homes and obviously our community by support, but we're helping others in the process. And that's what I'm thankful for is that we are, when there is the need, and if we have an abundance of that, we're helping others who are in need. And so that's what's really cool. Like I said, we're still, because of us being a nonprofit, staffing and all of that in our donation center looks a little different. Sometimes we are shorthanded. So I would say the biggest thing is grace in that process. There are sometimes we do pickups for larger items, but they could be a few weeks out at the times. If you're able to just bring them to Sunshine Acres, that's always a great thing. But if you can wait, that's wonderful too. But it just kind of depends on the year and our staffing for our donation center.
Makes sense. Bob and I donated a bunch of furniture when we moved into this office. It's like, well, we don't have a room for all this. So talk about how listeners can get involved and support your mission. How do they get a hold of you guys?
Absolutely. So I would say if you'd please come out for a tour.
Yes.
Call and schedule. So it's 480-832-2540. Call and schedule a tour. See the home. You will be blown away.
Yes.
I mean, it's so hard to describe. You have to really come on property and see who we are and how we work. So I would say first do that, and then if you would like to become a volunteer, then you would meet with our volunteer coordinator and fill out an application. Because we are a children's home too, we do require a level 1 fingerprint clearance card. So you would have to make sure you acquire that to come out there. And then I'd go to sunshineacres.org where there's always openings, whether sometimes in our front office or our dining hall. If you love to cook and you want to participate in that, please reach out. We'd love to have someone in the community come and help in our dining hall.
That's great.
So definitely always looking for career opportunities too.
Oh, great. Okay. Do you have those listed on your website?
They're listed on our website.
Very cool. All right. Any other last minute things?
No, the only thing that, my passion obviously is the connection aspect of it, because after COVID, everybody was in their own silos, right? So I'm going out talking to all these organizations, St. Vincent de Paul's, House of Refuge, all these different groups, and they're in the same boat. They're saying absolutely we need to connect with one another, because we have services, we have things that each of us our strengths are, and we could do better and be more effective to the people we serve, especially the kids we serve. So I'm having that ability to reach out, and I think that's helping us, because now we're all understanding each other's mission, and it's not like stepping on anybody else's toes. It's like helping each other. So we really appreciate it.
If everybody's in it for the right reason, they're gonna connect and not try and work in silos.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much. I have enjoyed my visits to Sunshine Acres. I always love coming out and just seeing the activity that's out there and the growth. Oh my gosh. From the first time I came out, which would have been about 2010 probably, to now, it's like night and day out there.
It is night and day.
Yeah, but it's great. Always
Can I
doing
have
great
one more
stuff.
plug?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so we, because of COVID, we started something that's called Lights of Love. So when the community could not come out, we were able to do a drive-through light. So this is our 6th year, I believe, 5th or 6th year. It will start the Thursday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And it's Thursday through Sunday up until Christmas, and it's from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a free drive-through with lights, and it's fun. This year we're gonna attempt to try to do a little kind of like hayride around the property.
Cool.
Have hot chocolate in God's garden and popcorn.
Oh, very cool.
And so please look out for that. But it'll be the Thursday right after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
The other thing is we do have a children's choir. I forgot to mention. And our children's choir goes out into the community. They just started last week practicing. So if you would like to have our children's choir come out and perform for your community organization, please give us a call. David is our choir director, and he would love to show off the kids of what they're doing this season.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to make a point of talking about that and see where we can plug some choir activity in.
Yes.
That's awesome.
They're fun, and it's our little jelly bean choir, so they're 6th grade and under,
Uh-huh.
and they are the cutest. This year, especially, the kids are so cute who are in choir this year.
How fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you coming in, and when you've got something new you want to talk about, come on back.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
To have
Sally.
you.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
This has been a Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast. You can find all podcast episodes at iTunes, Spotify, or your own favorite podcast website. You can also find them online at mesachamber.org. Content of this podcast is copyright the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, unless otherwise noted.